Hey everybody, what is going on? What's up? So today it's gonna be a pretty cool video because this is a collab video with an awesome YouTuber. Her name is Casey. Her channel name is HowCaseySeesIt. She is a visually impaired YouTuber. She talks about stuff like her visual impairment in general, and disability as well. So what I wanted to talk about was the fact that me and Casey, we decided to embark on very visual career fields. Me with film, Casey with theater. You're probably wondering why two folks with a visual impairment would want to do this in the first place. So I thought we could talk about some of the challenges that we have to endure, some of the things that we have to do to just kind of adapt. So I'm gonna let Casey start this off. So Casey, take it away.
Hey everyone, my name is Casey from the channel HowCaseySeesIt, and I am a visually impaired singer and actress. I've been doing theater pretty much my whole life, and I want to thank Juan so much for having me on his channel to talk about such a cool topic. Okay, so yeah, we're going to discuss being two people who were led to a pretty visual field of work even though we're visually impaired. And I think this is a really great topic. I've kind of covered some of this on my channel, but I really am excited to delve in today. There are aspects to acting that are incredibly visual, and it's been kind of a struggle and kind of exciting at the same time trying to navigate the world of acting and theater while being a visually impaired person, because I don't have many mentors who have similar experiences as me. I don't have many people I can call up and say, hey, what did you do in this situation? Because I don't know many visually impaired actors. One thing that I always struggle with is auditioning with a script. Cold reading is what they call it. Cold reading is when you get a script, usually that day, and you have to read it on the spot. And obviously, for a visually impaired person, that is incredibly difficult, and I have to hold the script right up to my nose, and then that blocks my face. And you know, nobody wants to see an actor auditioning and blocking their face with the piece of paper. That's one of my main issues I've struggled with being in this industry. Luckily for me, a lot of auditions are self-tape submissions now, so you can film it at your own house on your own time. You can memorize the script and not have to hold anything up, and that has been incredibly helpful for me. But I've definitely had people make comments like, take that paper away from your face, we can't see you. And I'm like, listen, I can't see the paper. Another thing is my nystagmus. So my eyes wiggle back and forth, and when I make YouTube videos and the camera is right in front of my face, I can kind of focus in the general direction of the camera and make my eyes kind of stand still at my null point. But when I turn to the side, or when I'm just talking to someone in everyday life, my eyes do wiggle quite a lot, and that is very distracting in the acting industry. I've had a lot of directors tell me that my eyes are very distracting and that I need to work on that. And I don't know how I would do that. I can't fix it. It is completely involuntary. But that's something, I wouldn't necessarily say it's held me back, but it's definitely something that always really bothered me growing up. I never ever wanted my eye movements to influence the roles I could get cast in. I often got cast as the quirky character, but I actually will completely attribute that to the fact that I love comedy, and comedy is where my heart is. But also I think it does kind of work better with the eye moving. Also, learning a set can be difficult, just mobility wise. Getting around on stage can be interesting because usually stages have a lot of levels with a lot of steps, but it's okay, I usually can take time to learn the set. I would say those are the main issues. There are obviously a lot of other little bitty things, but for the most part I just try to go with the flow and try to learn as I go. Alright, I'm gonna hand it back on over to Juan now, but thank you so much for having me, and I'm so glad we got to collab together.
Thanks, Casey. Pretty awesome insight from somebody in the theater perspective, from the acting and singing perspective as well. Now with me, with some of the challenges that happen with me in video, well, there are a few of them. The first thing is that there's a lot of improvisation that happens when something comes up, because when something happens, I can't really go consult the book of legally blind filmmakers or blind filmmakers because there is no such thing. A couple examples would be me having to get really close to the camera in the back where the screen is because I have to see what I'm focusing on. And another thing that involves getting close is when I'm editing, I have to use my max zoom feature so I can zoom in really close when I'm editing in Final Cut Pro. I actually made a video a few months ago talking about those two hacks, and also a few other ones that I do, and if you want to check that out, I'm going to leave a link right up here. Okay, now I do have night blindness, but the thing is, I actually can film better in the nighttime because, well, I can just control light more. I have artificial light to make it brighter or dimmer. Although I can't see when it's really dark, I light it to a point where I can actually see something. So it's not that bad for me at night. In the daytime, I can see better. I can see a lot better than I can at night, but the problem is when I do step outside, there's a glare almost all the time when I'm outside in the sunlight, even if it's overcast. This is also why you don't see a lot of daytime exteriors on my shoots, because, well, it's really tough for me to see what's on screen. I'm kind of shooting, well, blind sometimes. Another major problem that comes up, though, is when I'm chit-chatting to other people, either in person or online, who are directors, who make short films, who make videos, even other YouTubers. It's awesome to talk about cameras, to talk about sound, gear, but when it comes to the topic of visual impairment, it feels really isolating, because I know there's not a lot of folks on YouTube, or just folks in general, who shoot video and are legally blind. The other thing that does kind of irritate me is the fear of not being taken seriously, either by friends or professors or even potential investors. So imagine I'm trying to make a feature film and I go to someone, a potential investor, to see if I can get some money to make my project. They might just hear the blind part and might not take me seriously at all. In a way, I can understand why, because, like I said, film is a very visual medium. A big reason why a lot of people do doubt what visually impaired people can do is partially because of what is shown in the media, and what better way to start changing that mentality than to have not just blind and visually impaired creative folks, but of any other disability behind and in front of the camera. If anybody who is watching who is visually impaired and wants to get into the visual arts, but people are telling you it's a waste of time, don't do it, I say just do it. Who better than someone who actually has a disability to write a more realistic portrayal of a disabled character? Because the best way we can change people's ideas of who we are is by actually making the content ourselves. So anyway, that is it for the collab on my channel. If you want to check out the video we did on Casey's channel, we talk about using a white cane from the veteran perspective, Casey's perspective, to a rookie perspective, well, my perspective. It was great to have you on board this collab, Casey, and to be honest, you're actually the first disabled YouTuber I started watching on a regular basis. I'm pretty honored that you said yes to do this collab, so thank you so much. Well guys, I'll talk to you guys next time. I will see you in the next video. Go check out Casey's channel, check out the video we did, and I'll talk to you later.